Good morning, Kubernetes fans, and welcome back to London, England. We're here kicking off day 2 of our coverage of KubeCon and CloudNativeCon. My name's Savannah Peterson here with my co-pilot on the voyage, Rob Strechay. Rob, we have had such a great first day. I think I felt every emotion yesterday.
You definitely went through the range of them, that's for sure.
Yes, I mean, we had outstanding guests who not only educated us, but we had some guests so inspiring they actually made me cry, which is not something I thought I would say. My heart is still so full from that, and just really grateful to everyone. Shout out to Catherine with the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Working Group here, as well as the BIPOC group. She always curates a great segment for us about accessibility and inclusion, but this one really just pushed me over the edge. So I think I'll be reflecting on that, and I really hope that folks who tune into the broadcast, not only for our tech news, but also to learn how to be a better ally and how to be a better helper and how to empower the people around them, can get as much out of that segment as I did. Did you have any favorites? Did you cry yesterday, Rob?
I did not cry yesterday, so maybe today. You know, it's still early, very early in the day. We don't know how this is going to go, but no, I mean, I think that yesterday was really about a lot of the landscape, how to get to scale, how to get to production. I went and you saw me do the panel with
I know, you were on every stage yesterday, Rob.
It was a busy day.
It's a big day for you.
But when I was up on stage, one of the things I asked was how many were brand new. We had about 600 people in the audience.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was over half, this was their first KubeCon. So you start.
That's cool. You know, I think we've had similar numbers at most of these events. I'm really glad you brought that up. First KubeCon for a lot of folks. There are 14,000 people here. This is the largest one ever. It's a record for CNCF and the Linux Foundation in this community. You can tell it's pumping. I mean, I came in to take photos of your event and I was standing room only.
Yeah, and I mean, I think even then, if you look, they have 2 halls with the vendors set up and booths and the projects and pickleball.
Yeah,
and
wait, where's the pickleball?
It's down this way, behind us.
Oh my gosh, we might have to play some pickleball.
Yes, a little bit later, maybe. But I think what was very interesting was a lot of the talk was about not AI. And
I was going to bring it up, yeah.
I think that to me was refreshing because I think there's a lot of stuff that has to get figured out. Now, I say that, and then from the main stage this morning, there was a lot of AI. There was a lot of AI, a lot of donations. We have Solo on later today. They made a donation, not the nation, a donation, the donation of the KA Gateway. And they also have some AI and MCP Gateway stuff that they're donating to deal with some protocol issues and scalability issues. So I think there's some interesting things that will come out today that I'm looking forward to that kind of build upon yesterday. I think there's going to be a lot more AI today than there was yesterday, just because it seems like, how do you still make it easier? And I think I was quoted in an article yesterday in Tech Target, and I'd been going back and forth with the editor over there and saying, like, one of the things to me is there's still a lot of science projects out there. And I think that
that's a good way to put it.
There's a lot of pieces that you need to connect together, a lot of architecture and a lot of scalability related stuff that needs to get solved. And I think today we're going to hear from a lot of people that are looking to solve that in interesting ways, either in their company's code or as in the open source code. I think it's definitely always been that way, and I think, you know, we had Jonathan Bryce on from Open Infra yesterday. He was on the main stage again this morning with CERN. CERN was talking about how they used OpenStack with Kubernetes since 2017 and how they've built upon that and the complementary nature of that. I think that'll be an interesting go forward, is if they can actually bring what was seen as 2 competing communities together. OpenStack, as was actually talked about on this morning's keynote, was that there was a lot of competing orchestration layers.
Yeah.
And Kubernetes won a portion of it, OpenStack won a different portion of it. Those 2 have kind of won out. There's others that are out there that are in different open source communities, but really this one in particular, Kubernetes is did win the day, and people gravitated. And a lot of the talks, Liz Rice was up on there talking about how they got here. Again, of Isovalent fame and over at Cisco now. And so I think that, again, that was a really interesting set of keynotes this morning. Some looking backwards, some looking forwards, a lot of AI.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out today. I was thinking, I'm glad you brought it up, I was going to say the two words we didn't say as many times as we've said at the last 3 KubeCons was Kubernetes and AI, because I do believe that Kubernetes is becoming more ubiquitous. I think AI has advanced the adoption thereof. I will say when I walked in, and you know me, I'm a sucker for good marketing, especially if it has to do with putting the humans in tech. And one of the booths over here, oh gosh, forgive me, I don't actually know what company it is. Geez, this makes it sound like it's not the best marketing, but it says Kubernetes for humans. And I thought that was interesting and kind of fun, because I think what we've talked about a lot historically is the complexity of Kubernetes. Frankly, the challenges and complexity only increasing with the uptick of AI. However, this community, the open source community in particular, is really all about the people. It's all about the builders. Everyone in here is someone creating something, whether they're technical or not. And I think it forces a different sort of dialogue that's much more applied than just buzzword bingo.
Yeah.
So I always find it extremely refreshing. I know that there's a lot of other great sessions going on. All of these events, I mean, I'm just going to say it, perhaps more than most of the conferences we go to, no offense to them, every session is packed. Every event is oversubscribed. I'm sure it's going to be standing room only in the sign language event later today. We saw it even on the day 0 events. You had mentioned they were oversold. Portainer's event was standing room only on the floating yacht out there. I mean, there's a lot of people that are very excited to learn, and at a variety of different company and product maturity levels. And I think that's one of the other things about being here that's really cool. Between the projects and the startups and the hyperscalers, you've really got a diversity of the ecosystem on the business end of these projects. So I'm super optimistic that today is going to be as informative and fun. We've got some CUBE alums coming on. It's going to be a lot of fun, actually, honestly. So
yeah, we have some end users coming on today. We have some of the Linux Foundation where we'll be talking around some networking aspects of things, and edge, which I think is going to become increasingly more important with inference, because inference is going to be done at the edge. It's not all going to be done in the core. In fact, that came up during that doc session yesterday, was around a lot of the pieces of how do you do stateful. I mean, Kubernetes was built for stateless, and this was also from the keynote this morning, and it's been a theme about how you do way more in a stateful manner, because AI, and especially training of AI, is very stateful. And if it's not stateful, it breaks, it gives you the wrong answers. So that's something that really can't happen with these applications. As we know, the hallucinations have to go away for people to believe in it. And I think it's such a complex set of infrastructure, not even close to being solved yet. But you have people like Anthropic here, you have Microsoft, you have AWS, Google, a number of others. OCI is here, the Oracle folks, and I think at the top of the hyperscaler chain, and then you have all of the people down that, from Red Hat, SUSE, Canonical, and a number of others that are working on the Linux side of things, and then all the way up through the Kubernetes stack. And I think it's really a very interesting, who's going to solve which piece of it has not played out yet.
No, I think there's, well, and I mean, and we know, even just looking at the data, when it comes to Kubernetes adoption and folks on their container journey, we're actually still pretty early. We're still looking at only about 20-25% adoption at the enterprise level. So there's plenty of room and space for the right solutions to come together. Projects are merging, companies are collaborating. There's certainly a lot of desire to be those solutions that power the future. And I think there's a little bit of a battle royale that's still going to play out when it comes to determining who those winners are.
I agree. And I think one of the things, and I'm glad you brought it up, because when we looked at the ETR data before we got here, it's still container and container orchestration are still the top things that have the most momentum within organizations. To that point, I think that's why you still see it being a big tent and a lot of people here, beyond the fact that it's a very inclusive, as you were mentioning, a very inclusive environment for people to come here and really show what they've built and be involved, and it brings in more people, and I think that's one of the reasons why Kubernetes and this CloudNativeCon have won from with the CNCF, from where they sit in the ecosystem of open source, so.
Yeah, one of the other things that I really like too is, I mean, yeah, obviously there's a business end to a lot of what we're talking about. I actually found it really compelling yesterday when Jim was telling us that the estimated market value of open source software was $9 trillion. Yes. I think that was extraordinarily compelling. But beyond the business end, KubeCon and CloudNativeCon are the types of events where people come to learn. And people come to exchange ideas. In as much as there's marketing spend behind the booths behind us, there's also plenty of people who take time off even from their regular jobs to come and contribute to these working groups and to these workshops and breakout sessions and the keynotes. And it's such a, I know we kind of say it every time, but this is such a community-focused event that it always is like a refreshing glass of water after a long run. It gives me a lot of hope being in here, honestly. And not to mention, I mean, it's fun to be in London. I can't believe it's sunny.
The whole week. This is incredible.
I didn't know it did that here.
I didn't think it did it either.
Yeah.
Never ever. But yeah.
Yeah, never ever. What would you say is something that people who are watching our content at home or watching all of these talks online, what's something that you think they might not know at home that we get to experience in the hallways and those conversations?
Yeah, I think the hallway tracks are probably some of the most valuable
100%.
Pieces, and I think that when you're walking around having these conversations, being in the hallways or at the bar last night, when we run into end users who are super users of some of these things that we've actually had on before, I think you start to look at these different people and have these conversations about what is real and what's not real. What is a science project and what's not a science project?
Yeah.
And how far do we need to go still? And I think
point.
What's nice is, I mean, that's what you only get in those conversations in the hallway, but I think that what you can do is get active on Slack, get into the channels, even if you're just lurking, go and lurk and learn. Pick a community and say, you know what, I'm really interested in security. I'm going to go to the OpenSSF community and get on their Slack, one of their Slack channels. Or DOC, Data on Kubernetes, get in their Slack channel. They're all open. It's all free Slack, so even if you don't have a Slack license, you can get into it. And I do that. I do that myself when I'm not here, and the
what
open source summit.
What communities are you in?
I'm in DOC, and I'm in one of the storage SIGs as well. And I try to contribute when it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of smart people on there, so there's a lot of really great answers. I think that's the thing, is you can get involved and you don't have to be coding. I think getting involved is what I would tell people is, you can get involved in this and get a better idea of how it can help your organization by just doing simply, getting on the Slack channels.
Yeah, no, I think, and everyone's welcome. It's not like the first time you post on Reddit and you get trolled really hard and are embarrassed and wonder if you're ever going to open up your computer again.
Yes.
Love Reddit, for the record, but the first go is always a bit of a learning curve for everyone. And what I love about here is someone will say, hey, come along, or that's what this means, or we can get caught in deep holes of acronyms sometimes around here, but everyone's always willing to help explain, get you on the same page, make sure that you're included and a part of the conversation. And yeah, I mean, there's a reason this is one of our favorite shows every year.
So and just to kind of why, because everybody always asks, so why do companies do open source? Why do they contribute? Spotify was on. Again, they had a lot of customers on this morning on the keynote. Spotify was on. They, Backstages really came out of them.
Yeah.
They're still here contributing. They actually went and rewrote their entire Spotify's version of Backstage to then be able to contribute and solve some plugin issues that the community was having.
Oh, that's so
not,
cool, I didn't know
not
that.
a small amount of investment that they're making.
Yeah.
And people are like, why do companies do this? Jonathan, again, on stage today, goes, there's going to be $1 trillion in spend in this stuff this year. That's why the companies are here. That's why they're contributing. They know being part of this, being active, and contributing back helps them achieve their revenue goals as well. I think what was really also hit upon was really good. They always talk about contributing new projects for the right reason and making sure, and I tell this to a lot of companies who think they're open source, but they're really just giving away their software for free. Understand and align your company's pricing and product models with the open source you're contributing. And understand why you're contributing it, because if you contribute it and 98% of all the commits are coming out of your own company and you only get 2% of, and those are only for doc contribute, you don't have open source. And you really need to think about
That's a good point.
Why you're going down that path. So I think first, open source is not easy. Second, it's not free. And third, there's a lot of money that can be made in that ecosystem, which is why we have 2 halls of vendors here that are all fantastic contributing members.
Well, Rob, I don't think I could have summarized it better myself. You're certainly making the case for open source, and I know we're both fans. Very excited to sit here on the news desk with you all day and talk to our fascinating guests. Looking forward to what I don't even know already, because I know we're going to learn something from all of them. And I hope that all of you enjoy learning from our fantastic guests here for our 3 days of coverage at KubeCon and CloudNativeCon in London, England. I'm Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.